Now, this morning we have a Restaurant Week announcement, and this year it has a special twist. So thanks for being with us here on Up with Krem. I'm Jen York. The Inlander has worked hard behind the scenes to find a way to help support our local restaurants, and this year they decided to kick off our year in a really special way. The Inlander planned not one, but two restaurant weeks for this year. The first event starts next month. It's called the Great Dine Out. That will run from March 12th through the 27th.
Now this morning, Jared McGregor, the owner of the Inlander, is joining us to tell us more about this event and what we can look forward to, not only with this event, but also looking forward to in the summer. Jared, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, tell us more about the Great Dine Out.
Well, I think, as we got towards the end of the year, it was pretty clear from the guidance that restaurants were going to continue to be in a challenged situation. And so looking at Restaurant Week traditionally happening towards the end of February, we came to the conclusion that it was time to move Restaurant Week later in the year, the traditional Restaurant Week with the 3 courses and the preset meals and everything. So we've reset the dates for Restaurant Week to August 19th to 28th. It's a good moment where people can dine outside. We expect to be with the vaccination schedules in a much better space. And then we started working with partners in the past and talking through how would we help support restaurants again. And kind of an incredible concept came up that what if local and area banks and credit unions got together and helped support restaurants through this most challenging time. And so 13 local banks and credit unions have banded together to help launch what's called the Great Dine Out. And that'll be March 12th to 27th. And the concept is pretty simple. It's get out and support your local restaurants in ways that you feel safe and comfortable. Probably actually, if it's okay, I wouldn't mind reading the list of participating banks and credit unions. It's STCU, Washington Trust Bank, Idaho Central Credit Union, DECU, P1FCU, Progressions Credit Union, First Interstate Bank, Banner Bank, Canopy Credit Union, Umpqua Bank, Global Credit Union, Wheatland Bank, and Horizon Credit Union. And it's just remarkable to see the way that this community rallies behind a challenged sector like our hospitality sector here in Spokane and Kootenai County.
And of course, this is a great community effort to support our local businesses and our local restaurants here. What are you hearing from owners who've really struggled this past year, and what does this event mean to them?
I think the feedback we're getting is obviously very positive. The challenges of the past year have been overwhelming to most. Every restaurant's in a slightly different situation, and that's part of why it was set up in a way that had flexibility built in. Restaurants get to select the menu items that we're gonna highlight, and then they also get to set their own price points. In the past, Restaurant Week has preset prices, and so they'll be targeting things like signature dishes, fan favorites, or even family feasts, where people can come in and get a meal that's going to feed 2 to 4 people, and then maybe have leftovers. And so the design of it is really to create flexibility. But I think the biggest thing too is from a diner perspective, you want to have fun. You want to have amazing meals, and also maybe you're ready to not be cooking on the stovetop as much and heading back out and working with our sit-down restaurants that have been going through these challenges.
Jared, I also want to ask you, Restaurant Week was pretty much last year, the last big event we had in Spokane before everything really kind of started to shut down in our area and across the world. How important is it to kind of refocus and now look towards late summer for another effort at giving that full experience?
Yeah, it definitely was something that we were so happy that the restaurants were able to have really the full Restaurant Week, and then just right after that was when the pandemic came into our region. And I think being able to come back and have the full experience, I also wanted to say that there will be a guide for the Great Dine Out. I'll do my visual aid. People probably remember the Inlander Restaurant Week guide, and so there will be a full guide in the March 11th edition of the Inlander, and then on the March 18th edition, we'll do follow-up content, but we'll see a guide again in August. We would anticipate probably the full 120 plus restaurants participating in August. We don't know exactly what the differences are going to create having a summer restaurant week over a traditionally winter restaurant week. But we do expect that people are ready. They're going to be ready to go out and help local restaurants participate in the Great Dine Out. That's just the way that this community is. We're going to get behind people. And that when we roll into summer, people are going to be pretty excited to get back out there and really support their restaurants and see the amazing meals that people are putting together. And then for the Great Dine Out, we expect at least 150 participating restaurants. And then someone might ask, what if there's a restaurant that's not in the Great Dine Out? There's going to be limited capacity that we're able to handle and that we're able to publish. And if there's a sit-down restaurant out there that you're wondering, hey, should I help those guys out? Of course you should. And so we want to make sure that that's extended throughout our entire region, and that people just get out there, find ways to work with their restaurants and support community.
Well, Jerry, we want to thank you for being with us here on Up with Creme. Very exciting announcement for our community.
Absolutely, and then we actually also are announcing February 24th to March 5th, 2022 will be Traditional Restaurant Week is back again as well. So we got lots of food plans.
We have 3 wonderful weeks within the next year to celebrate our local restaurants for Restaurant Week, so in some form. So, Jared, thanks again for being with us this morning. Very special announcement, great community effort to support our local restaurants.
Thanks, Jen and Joshua. Have a great one.
You too. Have a great morning.